Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Wrap Up Live. This is the official Raptors Republic post-game live show. We've got myself, Sahal Abdi here, and Oren Weisfeld, the two co-hosts. I haven't been here in a few games, and I picked the right game to come back, Oren, because that was one of the more enjoyable Raptors games. I mean, if you
Yeah.
could say the second half probably was. The first half was like a lethargic shit show, to be quite honest. But second half was great. There was one player and one player that's probably on all of our minds right now, and that is a guy that Raptors fans have been clamoring for an All-Star selection. I mean, at this point and at this rate, he might just get there if he keeps it up. This live show was produced by none other than our man, Chris Howson-Jan. And tonight, your Toronto Raptors defeated the Utah Jazz 122-108. And that brings the Raptors record to 19-17 on the season. That's 2 games above 500. They're on a 5-game winning streak. Oren, let's talk about the man of the hour and a half, maybe. 37 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Fred VanVleet. It feels so good to be back on a game where Fred might have had his best game of the year. Oren, what did you think about that?
Yeah, for sure. It shouldn't have been this good of a game. Like, I was expecting just a blowout tonight. So, I prepared for just I'll casually watch the game, maybe flip through some other, the Nets are playing, And then after the first quarter, it was like, okay, we're in it for the long haul. The Raptors are not taking this team seriously. But yeah, the third quarter, which we're seeing clips from right now from Fred VanVleet was, and people have said this on Twitter and on the broadcast, but it's worth reiterating. It was one of those moments that you get to see once a year, maybe in an NBA season, in terms of a player just being in that much of a zone and being that unstoppable. It's so rare. And it's I think it's something we saw from Kyle once in a while during his prime here. But I mean, just insane, because I mean, Fred made his all-star case tonight to anyone who hadn't had him in before, because the third quarter really represented what he does, because it's not on one side of the floor, right? He had all those steals, those dig-ins on Whiteside. He had this block that's playing right now, second game in a row with a big block. So it's on both sides of the floor. So it's just he's doing everything for them right now.
Yeah. I remember a few days ago, might have been a couple of days ago, there was the big it was the great debate in Raptors Twitter. And Raptors Twitter by now, Oren, probably one of the more feisty groups. They defend their players, and they don't let anybody, bring them down. And the running debate was Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers, who's been having a fantastic season. He has been a borderline all-star player, just like Fred has. And it was almost like it was Cleveland Cavaliers fans versus Fred and Toronto Raptors fans. And the debate was who's a better player, who deserves an all-star berth if it comes down to it. And I don't know. I mean, at the moment, I was like, you know what? I've seen quite a bit of Cleveland Cavaliers games. Garland deserves an all-star berth, in my opinion. They're winning games. And you take out, LeBron out of the Cleveland Cavaliers situation, and it just seems like they would never win ever again. And here they are, with a borderline rookie of the year candidate, Evan Mobley. And that was the debate. And at the time I was like, you know what, Oren? It's okay. It's okay. I mean, if they think Darius Garland's a better player, he's having a better season, I'm okay with that. After this game, not anymore. Not anymore. Fred started off the game shooting a percentage that maybe a lot of Raptors fans just weren't happy with. Gary Trent Jr. was struggling. And then came the third quarter where he went absolutely berserk. I'm talking since I've been, a Raptors fan, even covering the Raptors, I don't know if I've seen a run like that just by one single player. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Yeah, because I was
not
thinking
easy to remember one.
I was thinking historically, I've never seen a Raptor just put his team on the I've seen Kyle Lowry do it from time to time. People remember in the finals, he had that little, I think it was an 11-0 run by himself, which obviously the stakes were much larger. But man, this was insane. He wasn't missing shots. And it wasn't just that. Like you said, defensively, all the tips, the steals, he had the block. it was a complete game from a guard that, at this point of his career, I think a lot of people have kind of given him flack for not being a complete point guard, not being a guy like Kyle Lowry that can rebound, that can play make. And I'm sorry, guys, if you've watched this season. I have a friend of mine who constantly, he can't play make and blah, blah, blah. And I wish Kyle Lowry was back. And man, he takes shots that we don't need and this and that. And you got to take all that back because this is as close to a complete point guard as you're probably going to get, Oren. And I'm sure you probably agree.
For sure. And I was one of those people too who I never discounted what Fred did for a team, but I did say that I'm skeptical of his ability to be a lead point guard and have the ball in his hand all game, which he's done this season just so much better than I think really anyone could have expected given where he started his career. This really was a guy who was not a playmaker for his teammates. He made a living in the league because he could play defense and he could hit threes, but it's not him being a playmaker was just not a thing. And give a ton of credit to him. He tightened up the handle to a point where he doesn't really turn the ball over at all anymore. And he makes every read in the book right now. And it's only getting more and more elite in terms of his manipulation, which is even coming along. But yeah, in the third quarter, it's worth I have the stats in front of me. 8 out of 8 field goals, 24 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals and a block. And this is what I wrote about after last game. But just as Raptors fans, we take for granted how our team has a crazy story going on, which is that Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam are putting these guys on their backs right now, carrying them into the 6th or the 7th seed. And I know it's a weird year, but whatever. I don't really want to make excuses because that's how the NBA is right now. Yeah. And we're talking about a 5'11" guy who went undrafted and the 27th overall pick who started playing basketball when he was 16. You know what I mean? That's insane that those guys are carrying a team to the playoffs. I just think that's worth kind of taking in and celebrating, and it's a crazy story.
From an optics point of view, I think what made this performance that much better was simply the fact that Utah, they rolled out a team. Now let me go through some of these names because Oren, I don't know about you, I pride myself on knowing quite a bit about basketball players at the very minimum. I buy 2K, the NBA 2K game every single year. And that's one thing that's been just helping my basketball knowledge. A lot of association, those game modes where you're just building your team and you're seeing all these random free agents. And let me build this player up. Let me see how many starters okay? Because we know Jared Butler.
Don't do it. Yeah, I know.
We know Jared Butler.
I know at least 3. Pascal, I actually liked in right? Golden State. I think he's a good player. Yeah. Okay. Whiteside, not good.
Okay, now tell me
who's Trent Forrest. I've heard of, but I have no idea who he is. I've just heard the name.
Okay, and now even better, who's Elijah Hughes, who had 26 points on 7 for 12 shooting from 3 and 9 for 15 from the field?
No idea. Never heard of him.
Wow. 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. That is an incredible game. 41 minutes played. A guy that, the Utah Jazz head coach, Quinn Snyder, really relied on in this game, and he wasn't missing. He truthfully was not missing. We saw almost everything from him. And this was weird because, like I said, the optics make Fred VanVleet's performance look so much better because the Raptors were down to a Utah Jazz team that was completely and utter, we're talking backups to the backups to the backups. It wasn't just Ingles and Donovan Mitchell out.
No, yeah.
Bogdanovich didn't play. Gobert didn't play. Jordan Clarkson didn't play. Goodness gracious. Let me go down the list. There's so many. Got Royce O'Neal didn't play. They played a guy named, let me see this, Malik Fitz. And I'm sorry. If you guys know these players, tell me right now. Tell me in the comments. Do you guys know Malik Fitz? And this isn't even a disrespectful thing. It was one of those things where I was totally confused as to how the Raptors were getting thoroughly beaten by a team in the first half with this many what looks like G League level players. And the effort level, honestly, is probably the thing that stuck out to me the most. But going back to Fred's performance, going crazy like that in the third quarter is what made it so much better, because the Raptors didn't have a lead in the game up until that point, and they finally took a lead, mid to late, I want to say, into the third quarter. You see here they're down 14 with 4 minutes left in the third, and then that's just when the world came crashing down for Utah. Fred just brought the team back, and again, this is coming off of the back of a performance where Gary Trent Jr. was 4 for 12. Scotty Barnes was 5 for 14. Pascal Siakam was 6 for 16. Not great shooting nights. Chris Boucher, who played 20 minutes, but honestly, I don't know if, in years, if I've seen a guy put in that much into a performance in 20 minutes. I'm not even talking box score. We all saw that photo that's circulating around, Oren. I'm sure you saw it by now.
Yeah.
Chris Boucher looked absolutely, positively dusted. He could not breathe. He just wanted to lie down. He just wanted to go to bed.
He's playing like he does not. Playing like he doesn't want to be traded.
Exactly. This is a great question from Andrew, and who knows? This might be it, guys.
I can't speculate on that.
We can't speculate.
This isn't a Tristan Thompson pod right here. We don't do that.
Why'd you have to go there? Why'd you have to go there? It might be a thing. Yeah, this is it. This is the photo that's going around. I'm happy we got it on Raptors Republic. And then you're gonna see memes all year if you follow me on
Chris.
On Twitter,
by the way, I'm loving the captions on Raptors Republic tonight, Chris. Very witty stuff coming.
You're doing good stuff.
Yeah,
you're doing good. You're doing good stuff, Chris.
I'm
gonna use the hell out of this meme all year.
Yeah. Quickly on the Jazz before we get to some of the other Raptors, like they played well, so I do credit them. They shot the lights out, right? And that was just like, it was really poor energy and effort from the Raptors in that first half, but the Jazz, they actually played really, really well. A lot of those guys, Pascal was really good. Hughes 7 for 12 from 3. And they played some decent defense in that first half too. So yeah, like the Jazz could have came into Toronto and without any of their players and been like, yeah, this game we have no chance of winning. But like with which 10 to 15 NBA teams would have that attitude, at least like 10, like where you have none of your players, you're not going to like give that effort. But the Jazz were really organized. They clearly had a game plan. They were not going to let the Raptors score in transition on them. The Raptors had actually 21 fast break points, but I think it was only like 7 after half or something. And so they had a game plan. They executed well, and some guys played really well. But yeah, ultimately that third quarter, Fred went off. He put the team on his back, and the Raps got a dub. But I thought OG and Pascal were also kind of keeping the Raptors in it the whole game. And you look at their box scores and even plus minuses, plus 13 and plus 11, they were really good tonight as well.
Yeah, Michael Grange with a super cool tweet here. It says, per Sportsnet stats, Fred VanVleet's 37 points is the most for any triple-double in franchise history. That's insane. I did not know that. His 24
per Blake
point
Murphy,
third,
he had it first.
right? His 24-point third quarter was the second best single quarter total, trailing only Pascal Siakam's 25 versus the San Antonio Spurs on January 26th. That's insane. To pull off a 37-point triple-double. And to be quite honest, this is a thing that NBA fans have been talking about for years, is that when players, they really try fishing for triple doubles. We saw what happened with Kevin Porter. You remember the Kevin Porter Jr. thing that happened? I think it was like a month or two ago, where like his whole team was like vying for him to get that last rebound.
They tapped it to him.
They tapped, exactly. And then he didn't even end up getting the triple double. And then there's been the whole Russell Westbrook thing year after year after year. Does he really fish for triple doubles, or is it just Russell Westbrook? I'll tell you one thing. Fred just looked like he was playing hard. Like there was no fishing for anything. He was just playing his absolute ass off. And for him to achieve one of the better triple doubles, I think, in franchise history. I mean, if you're the highest scoring triple double, that means something. So, yeah, I don't. It's crazy to me. It says now. Chris is quick with the tweets. I like this. Fred VanVleet scored or assisted on 22 of the Raptors' 24 points in the final 4 minutes and 3 seconds of the third quarter. if you're talking about a player saying, "Get on my back, guys, it's time to roll," after such a lethargic opening to a game, wow. 22 of the Raptors' 24 points, and for them to score 24 points in 4 minutes is insane. Like, that is crazy, Oren. We're talking, what is the you average that out, 24, 48, 72 points over a quarter. That's a crazy pace. Wow.
Quick maths.
Yeah,
Quick
you
maths.
like that, right? You didn't think I had that. You didn't think I
I
had that.
definitely don't myself.
Guru, we're not gonna do this right now, man. We're not gonna do. Come on, no, Russ slander. Let's have fun. Let's talk about the Fred VanVleet. Let's talk about the great game. We're not doing the Russ fake triple double stuff.
We don't hate on this pod, right?
Yeah,
we don't hate.
We don't do that. We definitely don't do that. We don't get called out on Twitter. We don't do any of that. I'm looking at the box score, Oren, and just eye test as well. Who else do you think stood out for the Raptors today other than Fred VanVleet?
Yeah, well, like I said, Pascal and OG. I think OG's shot making was pretty big up until the end of the third quarter when Fred obviously went on that run, but like they were only down like 12 or something at that point. And a big reason they were only down like 12 was because OG was hitting shots throughout the game. He had 4 made threes. Which was a good sign because since he got back from COVID, he hasn't been shooting the ball well. But this game, he shot the ball really well. Obviously, good defense, which OG always brings, and 3 steals, which OG brings often as well. So I thought OG was really good offensively. And then I guess we've gotten used to this from Pascal now, but he had another one of his all-around games with 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, a block, 17 points. So he was another guy, and some really good defense. I thought he was another guy who kept it afloat when they kind of were sinking in the first half. But yeah, that's it from the starters. Like Barnes and Trent weren't really doing much for me.
Yeah.
And then I think like you said, Chris Boucher was the guy off the bench to highlight because they had a shaky start with the starters, and then Nick basically said, okay, these guys aren't really awake yet, so let me bring in my bench, which is kind of what a coach does when his starters get off to like a sleepy start. So he did that early in the first quarter, and the bench was also really sleepy. So it's not a lot of guys to highlight off the bench either. The only guy really was Chris Boucher, who played well.
The only guy that I probably would give a little bit of leeway to is probably Justin Champagny.
Yeah.
And that is simply because if you look at the box score, he played only 4 minutes and he had 6 rebounds in those 4 minutes, 3 of them being offensive rebounds. What is it with Justin and these offensive rebounds just being attracted to him? I feel like he's just always around the rim. He's not a big guy. Like, I'm not even in frame or in height. He's not a huge guy. And Champagny, I thought, to be quite honest, that he deserved some more playing time. And there he was.
Yeah, he's like my height.
Chance opportunities.
He's like 6'6" or something. He's my height, basically.
Yeah. He has about 2 feet on you if he's 6'6". Let's be honest.
Don't do that. There's women watching. Don't do that.
We're definitely doing that.
But yeah, that's incredible. Six rebounds in 4 minutes is actually insane.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. To be quite honest, DJ Wilson only played a minute in this game. Yeah, he didn't really rely on the bench, but I mean that's been the story of the season for the Toronto Raptors. All of the starters were 30 minutes plus. OG had 22 points, Oren, but for me, it was a weird 22 because I felt like it almost got lost in the game. Like I didn't really realize it was 22. If you asked me without looking at the box score, how much OG scored, I probably would have said 14, 15 points. He had 22, which was nice. He was a plus 11. It's the third highest actually in the entire game. The highest plus minus, Oren, went to Precious Achua.
Yeah.
18 minutes played. Plus 14. I think no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm going to say it. I think he just found himself on the court at the perfect time. Am I a hater for that or?
No, for sure.
Okay.
He did.
Okay.
He was not great tonight. But he did get Fred the triple double, so all is forgiven after that.
Yeah. Oren, I wanted to talk to you about something that's kind of this is a very good play. just a typical. And this is what I mean by Fred is getting closer and closer, in my eyes, to what Kyle Lowry was for the Raptors. We never really saw, like we've mentioned this so many times, he was mostly an off-ball point guard, or an off-ball guard, I should say, for his entire career with the Raptors. And then this was his first season where they're like, all right, it's your team, do it your way. We're gonna need a complete PG season from you. And in the beginning, there was some bumps. He was consistent, but there was some bumps. And now we're starting to see it all come together. And it's coming together at a good time for the Raptors too. This would have been a game for me, Oren, where you would have hated to lose this one. Like I said, no Gobert, no Donovan Mitchell,
Oh
no
man,
Bogdanovich,
yeah.
no Clarkson, no Conley. You cannot lose a game like this, which is why when people look back, the Raptors are a play-in team, or if they make the playoffs, and you look back and you say, wow, we really beat the Utah Jazz. Yeah, we should have, to be quite honest. We really should have. So it was a good win for the Raptors from that side. Jazz, if you see the bottom of the screen, it says they outscored the Raptors 40-25. This was, for me, Oren, when we just look specifically at the first quarter, what do you think was hampering Toronto the most in that 15-point deficit that they ended the quarter with?
I think we already kind of said it, like just a lack of energy and focus to start the game. They what was I gonna say? Yeah, like it's hard when there's no fans in the arena, right? It is hard
Mm-hmm.
to get your energy under you. And I think it was an example of that. And I also think it was an example of the Raptors playing down to their opponents. Like they knew the Jazz had none of their starters in tonight. And I think they treated it kind of that way, which they haven't been doing recently with these other teams. So it was kind of disappointing to see. But yeah, I think the Raptors just like really walked in there assuming it was a win. And it was just like very sloppy play, lazy play. There was one play where Scotty, or was it? No, I think it was Precious, thought he got fouled in that first quarter. So he's arguing with the ref. And instead of running down the court, he's just arguing with the ref. And then whoever, I think it's Whiteside, his man, just sprints down the lane. So then someone, I literally said the same thing last game, but someone has to take Whiteside, and then it's the pass out to whoever took Whiteside's man. It's like an open corner three, which I think they missed, but got the rebound. Like the point is, just you can't be arguing a call if you're Precious Achua and you just came in the game and you're down 15, right? So I
This
think
is true.
it was just lazy and immaturity kind of to start off that game.
Yeah. And I quickly, before we get into the Can-Am Taxman of the Night, this has been something that's kind of been worrying me lately, Oren, with a specific Raptor. And I know a lot of people hate when I bring up anything even slightly negative about this guy. But Scotty Barnes, he almost, for me, when I watch these games and I really try and focus on him, it feels like his energy levels are so inconsistent. Like in transition, he is running up and down the court with so much aggression and trying to make the right play, which he usually does. But then defensively, sometimes I'm watching him and it just seems like he loses focus so easily. And he's almost just like slowly like gliding, but even gliding is like a compliment. It's like he's just not fully engaged defensively sometimes. And I don't know if that's something to worry about. Even offensively as well. It just seems like he doesn't want the ball sometimes. I don't know. I don't know if this is just like a rookie thing that we should be, just chalk it up to him being a rookie. He's a very young guy. Like sometimes I forget that this kid is young. I don't even know if he's 20. Is he 20 years old yet? I don't even know, to be quite honest.
20.
But yeah, he's still super young. But I don't know. Is it the injuries? What is it? Is it that he's been out and in this season lately? I don't know. Or am I thinking too much? Or?
No, I agree with you, but I don't think you can blame it. I think it's been all season. Like I just think he's a rookie. He hasn't learned what kind of focus and like effort level it takes to play in the NBA 82 games, because you're right. It doesn't bother me on offense really, because I think his role on offense is just kind of diminished. He's not like a primary option for them. But on defense, it bothers me where exactly what you're saying. He'll have a guy, and then his guy will go into the action, and instead of the other player will call for a switch, but instead of immediately switching and going to take that player, he'll just kind of laze around in the area he is, and then he'll erratically make the switch once the ball goes over to that person, because he's probably also someone who's been able to make up for that kind of laziness, or not laziness, sorry, but like
it's so like I don't like calling it laziness, but like
his whole career he's been the biggest player right on the court, and the longest and the quickest, and he's been able to make up for that kind of like lack of maybe positioning and just get out there and contest shots, whereas now in the NBA you can't make up a step, you have to be there. And so I think it's definitely like just a rookie thing, getting used to all of that stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention that because I don't know. It's just been like irking me a little bit. I mean, Scott, because I don't know. I just see such good things from him that I just feel like he can, with his skill set, he can take over on any given night. And I'm not talking like 25 points per game and, just filling up the box score. I'm talking just overall impact on a game. I'm not super worried. It's just with that specific characteristic of his, I'm not a fan of it.
I have another Scotty Barnes critique coming in the film. Don't worry.
Oh shoot. Okay, good. It's gonna overshadow everything.
That's okay. He's that good that he gets the criticism just like anybody else. That's what happens when you're good. That's right. Yeah. Let's move on.
Can-Am Taxman of the Night, our player of the game. This is probably the easiest one of the year, Oren. And give it up for DJ Wilson because he just had an incredible game. DJ Wilson, no. Fred VanVleet is your easy Can-Am Taxman of the Night. He had 37 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. I'm not even going to lie, guys. I stole that joke from the comment section. I don't know who said it because I just saw DJ Wilson, Taxman of the Night. So I just had to steal your joke. But we're giving it to... Okay, Chris, you didn't really have to like put it on the screen because this is bullying now. Like we didn't have to do all that, but we're gonna give it to Fred VanVleet. And to be quite honest, this is, like I said, one of the easier ones of the entire year. Can-Am, if you've been here before, you guys know what I'm about to say. Can-Am CPA is a full service small business accounting and tax firm with an experienced and friendly staff that can help you navigate around Oren. No, I can't. I always try and remix it. Navigate a triangle offense better than Phil Jackson. Can-Am also provides personal tax preparation and can recover the funds that you're entitled to. So don't leave your money on the table. If you have questions about your personal taxes, like I will have very soon, reach out to Can-Am, and they'd be happy to help the Raptors community and specifically the wrap-up community. So check out the Google reviews and visit them on their website, www.canamtax.com. It is on the screen. That's canamtax.com. This was the easiest one by far. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not even giving Fred justice because I should be watching these highlights right now like you guys. I mean, you guys have the easy job. All of you guys just watching. You guys get to watch the highlights while I have to talk about them and not really focus. But I guess just going, you could clearly tell most of these are coming in the third quarter where Fred just came alive. You see and one shots. It's the little things with Fred as well, just attacking the rim. He has Hassan Whiteside on him. Hassan Whiteside on Fred on the perimeter is just gravy. That is probably one of the easier buckets he's going to get. And then logo Fred, showing us his Damian Lillard-esque, attributes. Oren, Fred, is he an all-star this season?
We already did this.
Do you really think because tell me you got it because I'm there. I'm 100% there. I was like 75% there last week. I'm 100% there now. He almost has to completely botch the next I think voting ends January 22nd, so that gives him 2 weeks. He almost has to botch the next 2 weeks for him not to get there. But to be quite honest with you, this is the Toronto Raptors, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get
I think
ruined here.
Don't do that. I think the coaches vote for the reserves at the end of the month. So I think it was like 3 weeks he could botch it. But Aiden made the case last game on the show that he could be a starter And I think that's more of an argument than whether or not he'll be on the team, because he's gonna make the team. Like, what he's done in the last week to solidify his case has pretty much. I see a lot of national media even talking about him being an all-star. So I'm pretty confident he'll make the team. But I actually think he has an outside shot of starting. It's not likely, but if you look at the second guard spot beside DeMar, there's no great candidates. The guy who most people think will probably get it is Trae Young, but the Hawks are on a downslide right now, and they can't play any defense, and Trae Young's a big part of that problem. So even though Trae is probably the better player in a vacuum, I don't know if he's having like a better season necessarily. And if the Raptors keep winning and the Hawks keep losing, I think Fred has an outside shot of that starting spot.
Well, the Atlanta Hawks are 12th in the Eastern Conference. They're 17-20. So 17 wins, 20 losses. Damn, they're a lot worse than I would have thought.
I put $100 on their over. So let me tell you, it's not going great for me. That was my sure one. Like, I was sure they were hitting. That's the most wrong I was on any team, was the Hawks. I thought they were the 3 seed. That's what I had them as. So
to be honest,
I'm an idiot.
I would make fun of you right now, but I don't even blame you. They're coming off a great year last year. They made a good playoff run. They're bringing all their guys back. This is a team, if you remember, Oren, 2 years ago, that people were talking about John Collins leaving them and blah, 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 blah. No, they're 17-20. So, yeah, I don't know. I think off of just name recognition, you're right. Trae Young could get there. I'm looking at his averages for the season. He's at 28 points per game. Let's see what else. 28 points. His PER is really good. 9.5 assists per game, 4 rebounds. And then the percentages are really good. 46 from the field, 38 from 3, and then 90 from free throw. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be angry, if Trae Young made it. The personal stats are there. It's just his team. If they go on a little run in the next few weeks, I'm sure he's going to lock up that other. What do you think about Zach LaVine though? You don't think he's done enough to start beside DeMar? Maybe 2 starting Chicago Bulls guards?
It's possible, but he's missed some games and Fred hasn't really. And 2 guards from the same team also sounds unlikely. But and also just like when one of your players, like Fred is the best Raptor this season and DeMar is the best Bull. So I think that kind of goes against Zach LaVine. But I wouldn't be mad about it. Like, I think he has a pretty good chance too.
Kyrie and Harden, like, just completely, obviously not Kyrie, but Harden just completely no.
Yeah, Harden has a chance if he has a good month here coming up because he got off to a slow start, but he's back.
I haven't really been following the Bucks, even though they started off the season weirdly bad. I don't really know why. I genuinely don't know why, but they've had a very good month. Their last month has been very good. So I don't know if you've been watching Drew Holiday, but he could sneak in there. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think he'll be an all-star. I don't know if I wouldn't put him above Fred. I just can't say that he's had a better season than Fred. Fred's carried the Raptors in a lot of games.
He has. He has. And the Raptors are, they have the 7th seed locked down. Like I said, man, the Cavs 21-17. They still have a couple games on the Raptors. Hornets right underneath. The Wizards, who started off the season, if you remember, Oren, first in the East. I remember we were talking about that for a bit, which is completely unbelievable. And then they dropped off. Wow. I never thought about that. I got a message Aiden after this and I never would have thought Fred would have a shout at a starting point guard spot in the Eastern Conference. Even a shout. Wow.
I know. That's the thing. He's undrafted.
Who am I forgetting?
He shouldn't be here right now.
Who am I forgetting, Warren? Am I forgetting our beloved Kyle Lowry? What's been going on with him? Has he played enough games?
Nah. He's definitely not for a starter. He's been in and out of the lineup, and he hasn't scored much this season. He's just been more of like a everything else guy.
Yeah. His percentages aren't great. 13.7 points per game, 8 assists, 4.5 rebounds. I'm not mad at Kyle. Makes them a better team. So
yeah, for sure.
Kyle, if you want to start.
You have to fight Fred if you want to start.
Start. What else is there that happened in this game? Oren, I don't know if we went through absolutely everything. I think we got to get straight to film at this point. I don't know who else
I
to
have a
talk about
bunch
because I'm
of
looking at the
clips,
Utah
so
Jazz roster and it's a bunch of no names. Like,
no,
what do you
yeah,
want? What do you guys want me to say? It's a bunch of creative players.
ridiculous, man. It was only one thing to talk about in that game,
It's
and
just Fred,
like
man.
that's all there is. But I got a bunch of clips, so
Let's
I
get
think
it.
some of them will be good.
Let's
Film
get it.
breakdown. All right, let me just make this bigger.
You've been doing that a lot lately. This little film breakdown, like little hymn that you do after we start. I like
Film
it.
breakdown.
What?
Yeah. Oh
Do
yeah.
that
So
one more time. Wait, no. We're not do that one more time, Oren. Just one more time. Come on. I like that.
now I'm on the spot, man.
Nah, come on, man. Just one more.
See, now I'm doing too much. I'm doing way too much now. I can't go back to what I did. I can't replicate greatness. Greatness only. I'm not Fred.
Oh
I'm
my
not
goodness,
consistent.
that was fantastic. That is making our wrap up our
Anyways,
highlight reel by the end of the year. I have to remember this day. Okay, go.
Well, this clip right here, this is just a good example like of Kem Birch. If he wants to be more of a scorer, he can, because the way people defend the pick and roll with Fred is that this option is going to present itself pretty much every time. They're going to go over the screen, get caught up because Kem sets good screens. Big man's going to step up because you can't let Fred get a three. And then there's just a slip here. And like he's going to have that shot every single time he wants it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the point, is just if the Raptors want a different source of offense and Kem is willing to be more of a scorer like he was last season, they can go to this play.
Yeah, for sure. You know, one thing I've mentioned to a lot of my friends who are Raptors fans is Kem Birch. If there's one attribute that stands out for him, his touch around the rim. I don't know if it's just because I'm used to watching Precious a lot. And again, no disrespect, guys. You guys know me. Like, I only slander when it's absolutely necessary. But Kem Birch's touch around the rim is insane. Like, he has like for a center to just do that from the dotted line, or actually beyond the dotted line, just a little floater like that. And Kem has got to the point where I expect that to go in. And I'm sure Fred has at this point too, because he just made that entry pass look so easy. So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just no. I'm gonna give Kem his credit. I was gonna say maybe it's just me watching a lot of Precious, and I'm just shocked when one of those go in. But yeah, Chris, give us the next. Give us the next play.
But Kem does have a good floater, and
yeah,
regardless of how bad Precious is, it's good regardless.
There's Scotty to OG to Chris, and I'm pretty sure that was an and one. Yeah. Yeah, this is a good play too.
Yeah. Okay, let me just look at the note for this, because obviously it's a nice pass by OG. It
was a two-handed pass, no? Yeah, it was. And then Chris, and I mentioned this during the game about how Chris, I don't know, guys, if you've watched this or if you've heard this, I should say, during games, but I feel like every time Chris Boucher gets fouled, this isn't a bad thing, by the way. So don't this isn't like, I really got to preface this because you guys are gonna, oh my gosh, he's slandering Chris Boucher again. No, I feel like he yells like extremely loud, like to the point where it's like I can like, if my window's open in my house, mind you, I'd live outside of downtown Toronto, I'd probably hear him. Like we're talking Final Destination, Scream movie, like horror movie screams, Paranormal Activity. Sorry, I don't want to do
him and Pascal. Pascal's the same way. But this one I wanted to highlight because Whiteside's is just being lazy here. He just does not get back. I don't know why. But Chris, him sprinting to the rim like this is really important because he takes the man. And then they're playing a 4-on-3 because once OG gets the ball, because Whiteside's still trailing. And then they make a nice read. So it's a pretty decent pass from OG, but it's also a simple read once they get the 4-on-3 going, which is just smart play by Chris and Scotty and OG. But that's about it. Whiteside kind of stinks.
Yeah, I was actually just watching Whiteside on that entire play, and damn, that's sad. The fact that he's the last guy down, lazy as hell, and then ends up fouling for the and one. That's typical Whiteside. I mean, he did have some good plays in this, some good blocks, but that's on Whiteside. You signed.
Okay, the next one is a complaint I have about Scotty Barnes, which he has an excuse here, which is that he doesn't want to get hit in the nuts, and I do this when I play soccer too. But every time he goes for a charge, he puts his hands down, at the nuts area.
Yeah,
and I get it, of course. But he does it too early to where he shows the offense what he's doing by putting his hands there. Like, it becomes so obvious that he's trying to take a charge. And then when they realize, like, they come to a jump stop, he can't get his hands up to contest the shot. So this is something he's been doing quite a bit recently, and it just bothers me. Either you got to commit to the charge and step right in there and take it, or you got to have your hands up and contest the shot. But it can't be this mixed hybrid of just nothing.
That's hilarious. He pressed, yeah. I don't know. To be quite honest with you, with Scotty Barnes, it's like when I watched this play, I didn't even realize this was a thing with Scotty, where he literally tries taking the charge like an NBA 2K player.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you put your 2 feet like in your 2 hands in your groin area to take that charge. Like, if anything, you could still take a charge with your hands up. I think we've learned that from watching Kyle Lowry take 10 million charges in his day. So, yeah,
that's the thing. It's not even a necessary thing. So,
and to be quite honest with you, Oren, if he puts his hands up immediately, I don't know if this is even a shot attempt.
Yeah, exactly.
And the player's so almost trapped, right? Yeah. Player's almost trapped on the baseline.
Yeah, so he just read that wrong. That was never going to be a charge. He was like, Pascal was never out of control, so that was never going to be a charge, and so he should have contested it. But if you did a really good job, charge, you can still get a charge with your hands up, right?
Yeah, he did a really good job on the roll. Like, I'll give him credit for that, because Whiteside, again, is a very big guy. As goofy as he might be, he's a big body, huge wingspan, a guy that's pretty good at finishing around the rim, especially when he's underneath it. So I'll give him credit for the roll. It's just everything after that is yeah. Chris, rack it up with the next one. A nice screen and roll from Whiteside.
Well, this was just the ridiculous Fred sequence to end the third quarter. And we already kind of talked about Fred enough, but this was the play that like punctuated it. And it's just a pretty ridiculous block.
Yeah, I mean,
a nice read too in transition.
If you're the Utah Jazz, once Eric Pascal becomes your go-to player, things are probably just going to go wrong. I like his game, though. I did tweet today that he kind of plays like he's at Rucker Park sometimes with all the like very aggressive spin moves that he attempts and all that stuff. But he's not a bad player. I like him as a role player, but I mean, great defense. Great defense. Malik says, Sahal, we need 2K to up VanVleet's rating. It's been an 83 for like the past 2 years. Yeah, man. To be quite honest with you, somehow I'm buying this 2K game every single year, and I'm simultaneously saying it's one of the worst games I've ever played. So, if there's one sponsor we're not looking for, it's 2K Sports. Yeah,
it's because there's so much player movement. You have to buy the new game every year because the teams change so much. But
it's like Madden. It's like Madden and FIFA. It's just one game that has a monopoly over all the sports games, and it's just that game's trash. So, but you have to buy it because there's nothing else.
FIFA, though, there's less movement, so you could play it for a couple years, like if you really wanted to. But like if you got, I don't know, the NBA just moves so much quicker. But is the gameplay not any better? 2022.
The gameplay hasn't been good for years, to be honest.
I know, but I feel like every year there's a chance it could improve.
You know, to be just go to Ronnie 2K's Twitter profile and just read his mentions after every single tweet. Doesn't matter. He can say Happy New Year. He can say Merry Christmas. And his mentions are fix the game. And then just a lot of not safe for work, rated R stuff. So, I'm not giving NBA 2K that sponsorship. They call, I'm hanging up. It's not happening. What is the next play, Chris? Do we have more? I don't know if we have more. Is that it? I think that's it, Oren.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
I don't know if
I'm so happy I watched this game.
The audience has questions. Drop us some questions.
Drop it. And I know I see you guys. You've been dropping questions the entire time. No, I will not be answering any more 2K22 questions. They're gonna have to pay me to talk about 2K22 from now on.
I'm pretty sure Fred's like number one. He's I know he's the highest paid undrafted player of all time. So I don't know. Are there others I'm just forgetting that have had great careers? I'm sure there are, but Ben
I'm
Wallace
not 100%
says
sure. Yeah,
producer.
Ben Wallace.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, like
Ben
that's the
Wallace.
thing.
Good point.
Fred, if you look at his career, he hasn't had like a crazy career. Like Pascal definitely is like, if you're gonna do a Raptors list or something, Pascal has to be above Fred because he's just been doing it longer. He's been contributing longer and stuff. But if you look into the next 10 years
Mm-hmm.
and you say like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, who's going to be the best undrafted player or the best Raptor, then I think like Fred's clearly on an upward trajectory. But if we're being honest, this is his first All-Star season of his career.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't like put him that high.
Where does he rank? He definitely ranks in the top 10. I just and
Oh,
this is
for
crazy to
sure.
say because he's in the prime of his career. It's not like his career is even close to being over. But yeah, we mentioned Ben Wallace. I think Bruce Bowen is undrafted. Chris, our producer, tells us Connie Hawkins, John Starks from the Knicks. Yeah, he might be top 5 to be quite
Yeah,
honest
it
with
might
you.
be top 5.
Udonis Haslam,
He's past UD, I think.
Avery Johnson, Udonis Haslam. um, yeah, that's about it. He's high. He's definitely high, Phoenix. That's a good question. That's a very good question. He's up there, and I do think he has a chance of being top 3. I don't know if he ever gets Ben, because to get over Ben Wallace, you essentially have to be a Hall of Famer. So I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
yeah. What else do we got?
I
What
feel
else
like
do we got?
we've answered this question too many times, to be honest with you.
Do we need a
Okay.
center or not? Guru, you shouldn't even be asking that. You're here all the time, and we've answered that
Yeah,
like
we talk about
18,000
it
times.
every episode.
But yeah, we need to sign Bruno Caboclo and play him at the 5.
Yeah.
This is Oh, I'm sorry. I know you guys are about to highlight one, but I like this one. Thoughts on the upcoming trade deadline? I'm assuming you meant to say trade line. You got lazy right there. What can be done to fix the bench? Oh my goodness, what can be done? They're gonna need Thanos at this point. They're gonna need some Avengers to save the bench. Oren, what is probably the biggest need from the bench? Is it scoring? Is it a playmaker off the bench? Is it
Well,
a 5?
shout out to Hoop Goose, who has been hammering this on the Raptors Twitter. Good Twitter follow. He's been hammering this on the timeline. But Eric Gordon is someone who I was hesitant about at first but now I've learned about his contract, right? He has this year and next season guaranteed, but the season after, which is the season that I really don't want to take on long-term money beyond, like I'm okay next season, but beyond that, I'd prefer not to, because that's the summer where the Raptors could have some cap space if they want to. Um, his contract becomes a team option after this season and the next, and it's only guaranteed if you win a championship, which was like a Daryl Morey deal. So it's like, all right, if you win a championship, obviously you don't have a problem guaranteeing his deal, but otherwise, most likely it's just a 2-year deal. And Eric Gordon, he shot like 45% from 3 this season.
He is undoubtedly one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. Like,
Yeah, and
undoubtedly.
we know how much this team is missing 3-point shooting. That's to me the biggest thing that is missing on the team. So I like the Aaron Gordon fit for sure, because he can play some defense. He can come in and just be like a spark plug off the bench. And I like the contract because, yeah, it's a lot of money, which makes it not as attractive to the rest of the league, but it ends in 2 seasons, which I think fits the Raptors pretty well. And, it's not a bad thing to get a veteran in the room when this team is so young. So that's the name that I like the most in terms of realistic names that I've heard of. But at the same time, like, I don't think the Raptors should be giving up like a first round pick, at least like not this year's or next year, really. Maybe down the line. But if you can get Eric Gordon for like Chris Boucher and Malachi Flynn, or like a second round pick in one of those guys, then yeah, I'm all in on something like that. How about you?
Yeah, I've seen the Eric Gordon takes, and you're absolutely right. I think the Raptors kind of signed Svi earlier in the offseason as to be their backup shooting guard / small forward, a guy that can come off the bench and just help with their 3-point shooting. And I don't really know if he's done that. And to be fair, I think it was people just expected a little too much from a guy that was barely, a consistent NBA player at that point in his career. He's still super young. I think we're not talking about like a 32-year-old or a 33-year-old. But I definitely think 3-point shooting is the weakness. You go all the way down the bench.
He is 33.
Who is?
Eric Gordon.
No, I'm talking about Svi.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eric Gordon is long in the tooth. That guy's gonna be on an RRSP in like a couple of years. But yeah, I'm okay with it. Like I'm fine with it. If anything that I think that's realistic that gets the Raptors fixing probably their most glaring weakness, which is 3-point shooting, I'm okay with it. I've seen, some unrealistic stuff like Jeremy Grant, for example, and I don't know if that's like, because to be quite honest with you, that just essentially means that Masai Ujiri has to give up a lot, and it starts with a first-round pick, right? So, and I don't know if Masai is ready to do that, because as we probably all know by now, you don't even really have to be a Raptors fan to know that Masai Ujiri is one of the best drafting executives. Or I'll just say the entire Raptors organization as a whole. I like Eric Gordon. Not mad at it. I've seen people say Christian Wood before. Again, I don't know if that's realistic. Yusuf Nurkic, I don't know if that's realistic. A lot of fives, but I think the Raptors need to do something. And Chris Boucher is a guy that I think a lot of teams would be excited to add. He's a rotation player in the league. Like, I don't really care what people have to say. I think he's shown that, and recently, and then also last year as well, he had a very good season. So
your tweets might not agree with that.
Oh, okay. We're doing this.
No.
Okay.
No, but yeah, I think the way people have to think about the deadline is that the Raptors are not ready to make an all-in push for a guy like Jeremy Grant, right? That's going to take so many assets that you're essentially going all in for the now. Whereas you add a guy like Eric Gordon, what you're doing is you're not going all in, but you're putting your guys in a better position to just succeed, and you're putting guys in better roles to develop even. And I think like that's so needed, because if you look at the bench numbers, it's something we've talked about all season, but it's truly embarrassing how not only are they the worst scoring bench in the league, they score the least points in the league, but I think they're shooting 27% from three as a bench, which is by far the least in the league. Like, it's not even close. And it's just like it's not okay anymore. At a certain point, like, they need to do something. And if you look at the Raptors guys, like, their playoff rotation gets pretty slim in terms of guys that I think Nick Nurse trusts in a playoff setting. Like, it's the top 5, and it's Kem Birch. And I don't know if it goes further than that, because I don't think he trusts Precious. I don't think he trusts Boucher. Utah might
Utah's like a stretch.
Yeah. Utah's a stretch, like 7th man, but it's not deep enough for a good playoff rotation. And one more guy like Eric Gordon. I've also heard Terrence Ross, but Terrence Ross doesn't really defend, and I think the Raptors like really shy away from players who are one-way players. So that's why Gordon would be my target probably. I like that. But I'm also totally okay if they just sell and get some picks in the cabinet, and then use those picks in the future to, make future deals.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well. I mean, obviously you want the team to improve at the deadline, especially if people feel like we're a borderline playoff team at this point, which the Raptors look like they are. I mean, they're probably going to be hovering around the 6th to 10th seed for the rest of the year, unless they just go on a super magical run, and which is possible, to be quite honest with you. If everyone stays healthy, I mean, it's very possible that the Raptors can do something crazy and end up like the 5th seed or the 6th seed. I don't know if they ever crack the top 4, but I think that like
is the ceiling.
Exactly.
Top 4 seems pretty out of hand.
Yeah. So I hope we answered your question.
Ooh, I like this. Okay. Never mind.
Thoughts on Justin Champagny? 6 boards and was the first sub off the
Jay,
bench.
you must have just come into the show. We already
Yeah,
talked.
He just joined
He
like
just joined.
5
He's
minutes ago.
asking questions. He's
Because
like that
we went
kid.
over this.
He's that kid who just comes to class late and he repeats
Yeah.
someone's question.
Yeah. Wow, that was good because that's happened so many times to friends of mine. That's hilarious. Yeah, we've
I
answered
like
that. I
this
mean,
one.
the quick answer to Justin Champagny is that I felt like he deserved a few more minutes because I felt like he was the only energetic player for the Raptors in the beginning of the game, and he's been a guy that's been a very good rebounder for his size. This is something that we've all noticed. This is something that we've pointed out. But can he do? I mean, anything else other than that? I don't know, and I think that's probably why Nick Nurse feels like he can't really trust him for long spurts. So, um, yeah.
But he is shooting the ball better, but that's going to be his swing skill, I think, in this league, is if he can get a 3-point shot, because right now his best role is kind of playing in like the dunker spot, but that
Mhm.
just hurts your spacing because he's not a 5. So you really want to be able to shoot the corner 3 at least if you're a
For
guy like
sure.
Champagny.
For sure. What
I
else
like
do we
this
got,
question
Oren?
though. I'll ask you it. Who is the number 1 option? Is it Pascal still, or is it Fred now?
You love doing this because you know that I'm going to get flack if I say it. Doesn't matter what I say, I'm going to get flack for it. I can't really go against Fred after a night like tonight, so I think you almost have to go Fred. But I think the problem with Fred is that yes, you'll get games like this, Oren, but the consistency in terms of his shooting efficiency isn't always there. And it feels like him and Pascal almost trade nights where they, shoot well and don't shoot well. Obviously, it's great that some games they do shoot well together, but um, I have to go Fred. I mean, I would say Pascal if you asked me a couple hours ago before the third quarter, but Fred's been on a tear for a while now, weeks. So I'm gonna go Fred.
Yeah, I think this game was a good example, though, of what you're saying, where Fred, to an extent, lives and dies by the 3. And the first half was he did not shoot the ball well, and the Raptors' offense really suffered because of it. But Gary Trent didn't shoot it well either, and that was part of the bit. But when those two guys aren't shooting threes, the Raptors do not have many 3-point shooters outside of that. The bench did not hit a 3, as I'm looking right now. They went 0 for 6. So anyways,
which is better than usual. 0 for 6 is better. 0 for 6 is
though,
better than
I agree
Sorry.
with you though. I think Fred has become the number 1 option this
Yeah,
season. I just think like today was another example of he is the guy who's going to take the game into his hands more than
for sure.
Pascal is. He's just going to say, "You know what? We're winning or losing this game by whatever I do and the decisions I make, but I'm not just going to let other people dictate it." Like he has that mentality for sure this season.
Yeah, for sure. I like that comment from. I'm not even gonna try to say your name. You know what? Actually, no. I'm gonna try. Villain. I quit. Anti-hero. Wrote villain. What the hell? Am I just not seeing this right? Villain. I quit. Tyrant. Is that anti-hero or okay? He says I think it's game dependent.
Equity.
Last
Oh
game
no.
versus
Equity.
yeah, it could be anything. I think he did that on purpose. I think game dependent. Last game versus Drew, better for Siakam to be the 1A option. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Drew, one of the better defenders in the game, and that's the good thing. That's the good thing that the Raptors have 3 guys at the very minimum that could score 20 points per game in OG, Siakam, and Fred. So I think OG is almost like the clear cut third option between those 3, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And then Scotty kind of like plays off of them and then basically ends there. I was going to say the bench gets in on it, but yeah, it essentially just ends
And then
there.
once every 5 games, Gary Trent Jr. is
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah.
it's
Forgot
his
about Gary.
game. It just becomes his game.
Forgot about Gary. What was the question I think you highlighted just before that? I forgot. I didn't see it.
No, I think that was the one with who's the number 1 option.
Guru, come on, Guru. Come on, we've answered that before. Mike Camina says, "What do you guys think of trading for Jalen Smith from Phoenix?" He's been doing really good, and I don't even really focus on the Phoenix Suns all that often. But apparently, he had a very quiet rookie season last year, and then this year he's been doing really well. And the only reason I know that is because Oren. By the way, you should follow this account on Instagram. It's called G League TV. It just focuses on G League centric players. You know, them getting promoted to the NBA, all that stuff. But I love it. I wouldn't have known. I mean, I knew who Jalen Smith was, but I wouldn't have known that he was, you know, playing really well with the Phoenix Suns. Wow, looks like it's just me now. This is great. See, I like it better when it's like this. Now I can just talk to all of you guys one-on-one. Oren's back.
Did you get booted or I just got booted?
Oren, you got booted. I was going to have some alone time with everybody, but you ruined it. Do you think Masai is a good president? Okay, I think this has to be our.
We gotta go. We gotta go.
It's like now you guys are getting.
That's it.
Easy. You guys are, Phoenix, that was a good question, by the way, Phoenix. Maybe hold that for next episode, which I think, guys. Chris, can you bring up the schedule for us? The upcoming schedule for the Raptors, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
it's the JV return. Return of JV.
Oh no, JV's coming back to an empty stadium.
Yeah, let's go.
No. I actually really feel sorry for him.
Well,
I mean, it is what it is.
I don't really care that much, to be honest, but I'm just focusing on the Lowry return, because if that's in front of an open stadium, that's just ridiculous. That's a problem.
They got the New Orleans Pelicans Sunday night, 6 p.m. Sunday's always the weirdest day because they just scheduling the Raptors 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 5 p.m. Can we just get 7 p.m. like every week? What's wrong with that? Is that a problem? They've got, and then a day break, and then they've got the Phoenix Suns on Tuesday. Couple days, Detroit, Milwaukee, Miami. This is a pretty tough stretch, I think, because Detroit. As much as I want to say, Oren, that's a guaranteed win, I don't think it is. And then you have Milwaukee, Miami, Dallas, Washington, and then Portland, who's been struggling this year. So
these are pretty winnable games, a lot of them. You know, Miami,
to be honest, Oren,
Milwaukee, Phoenix, those are tough, but the other, we don't. We
don't even know because we don't even know who's playing. And that's how the NBA's been this season, right? So I mean, we could be playing Dallas with no Luka. We could be playing Miami. Jimmy Butler's out apparently with an ankle injury. So
JV is gonna kill us on the boards.
He's gonna
that might be a game. You know, I'll actually be pretty interested because Nurse has talked about how the starting lineup is fluid and how he's not set on those guys every game. So if he's gonna start Precious or Chem, it would be against JV. You know, like that would be the game to definitely start a center. So we'll see, but I'll be curious.
I will likely see you guys back here on Sunday night. And it will likely be me giving JV the Taxman player of the game after he finishes with 27 points and 27 rebounds.
Yep.
So it'll be fun. This was fun, Oren. I think we'll wrap it up now. Before you guys leave us, you guys see the bottom of the screen. We need you to like, comment, and subscribe. There's been a bunch of you that joined us today. We want to thank each and every one of you guys, especially the commenters. Again, guys, I did see it. I didn't comment it on at the time, but we did have some spammers, some Utah Jazz spammers. Quickly block. Come on, you guys know me. I'm quick with the block trigger. We're quick with it now. They had to get the hell out of here. Fred ruined a lot of people's nights. I mean, he made our nights. It's a great Friday night for us, right? But he ruined a lot of people's nights. So like, comment, and subscribe, guys, if you enjoyed what you saw or if you enjoyed Fred VanVleet's performance. Turn on the post notifications if you haven't already. This was the wrap-up, your Raptors Republic post-game live show where your Toronto Raptors defeated the Utah Jazz 122-108. And that brought the record to 19-17 on the season. This was it for myself, Sahal Abdi, here with Oren Weisfeld, my great co-host. And we'll see you guys back here hopefully on Sunday night. It'll be fun. The New Orleans Pelicans, Canadian coming to town, by the way. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. We can't forget about that. Yeah. Vote Fred VanVleet for an all-star. How about that, guys, before we leave? Thank you. Have a great day.